Hi, I'm Ellis George, play Courtney Woods, and you're listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast.
The tangents and squeak continue all the way to episode number 44 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. You can say it with a card, you can say it with flowers, you can say it with chocolates, you can say it with a cheesy tattoo on your bicep. I love my mom. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do every week by going around the virtual table and see who has joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Fort Pierce.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
This is Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Love you, Mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have no cheesy tattoos anywhere that say I love my mom. I know people out there do, so more power to you.
If that's how you show love to your mother, yay! I call her and send her a card.
Yeah. I took my mom out for Chinese.
I posted a picture of my mom in the hospital with baby me.
People do that too.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Whatever works. So, all right. Well, this is going to be a mom-centric episode here in a little bit, but let's start off first with news.
News is, if you thought the Marvel Cinematic Universe was resting on its laurels with Avengers: Age of Ultron, which I saw again the other day, and it's still awesome.
Yep.
You would be very wrong. You'd be very, very wrong, because there is more casting news in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, namely Martin Freeman, Bilbo Baggins, John Watson, and that dude from
The Office
guy that I can't remember his name.
Arthur Dent.
Arthur Dent.
Arthur Dent, thank you. He is coming to Captain America Civil War, which apparently is actually going to be Avengers 2.5.
Yes.
Everybody's going to be in this one.
Yep.
But at this point, the question is, who isn't in the Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore?
Really?
Because now they've got Martin Freeman, and Benedict Cumberbatch, as we previously reported, is going to be in Doctor Strange. So like Rachel said before we started recording, Sherlock season 4 has been pushed to
2025 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so by the time, probably around, I saw something on Tumblr. Was it Tumblr or probably Facebook, maybe even Pinterest? I don't know. It's been floating around.
Yeah.
And someone was saying, like, Doctor Who will have its 100th anniversary in 2063, and we'll still be waiting for Sherlock season 4.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, probably true. But nevertheless, welcome Martin Freeman to the Marvel family.
Yay!
We love Martin.
Yep.
We love Marvel. We love Martin Freeman. So this will be good. It doesn't say who yet he is playing.
I think they've said since that news drop, but that didn't really give any insight. I think they just gave a name. So very hush hush.
Yeah, and it's like, so it'll be.
Hey.
Yeah.
He's
It's
probably going to be thrown into the chaos and want to get out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And just kind of, let's see.
Maybe.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. And like, because, obviously Chris Evans is going to be in it as Captain America. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in this one, but also Black Widow.
Falcon's in
it.
Bucky Barnes, Agent 13.
The new
Vision.
The new Avengers are all going to be in it. Vision, Scarlet Witch. And I guess the more pertinent question is who isn't in it. Hulk isn't in it, and
As
Thor
far as
isn't
we
in
know.
it. As far as we know.
Yes.
But they released that great big giant list, and it was just like, okay, this is pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
And Coulson's not in it,
That we know of.
although that we know of.
There's always a possibility for surprise appearances. You just never know.
Yep.
With the way things are going in storylines, you just never know.
You never know. And he could make a surprise cameo.
Yeah.
Somebody.
So, but yeah, Chrissy's definitely right. It's like, who is it? And actually, Andre, from Black Nerd Comedy made the best video about all these casting announcements, and he's all like, so and so's in it. He's like, the Power Rangers are in it, the Ninja Turtles. I'm in it. I have an 8 o'clock. I have an 8 o'clock. 8 a.m. call. You're in it. Get over there.
Get over there. So yeah, watch your email inboxes. You may be in Captain America Civil War. So
they're filming in Atlanta. It wouldn't be that far to travel.
Yeah, that's a state away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Road trip. Everybody in the car. We're gonna go.
You can be extras. You can do Stanley's cameo with him. Go to Stanley's cameos. I finally saw that video and I just died laughing.
Isn't it wonderful?
It was amazing. Even though I only knew who Lou Ferrigno was. But I was just dying.
Well, you should know who Michael Rooker is. I mean, he looks different without the blue paint on his covering him, but
who is he?
From Guardians of the Galaxy. He's Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, he is? Okay, that's why I didn't recognize him. Sorry.
I know he's not blue and he doesn't have a whistle-controlled, arrow on his hip, but, yeah.
Okay, fine. I know.
No, it's okay. That just shows how good his makeup job is in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's unrecognizable without it. Unless you watch Walking Dead, apparently, but whatever.
Which
I don't watch.
None of us does.
No. Yeah. We'll all do a road trip. We'll go to Atlanta. We'll all go be in Captain America Civil War, and then we'll go visit Brenda. How's that?
Yeah.
I've been in Atlanta, or Thunder Springs, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I remember the boys had that big discussion of where she lives. She had a
Geography confusion.
Yeah.
I live in the Atlanta metro area. Don't you guys know anything?
No. They're sheltered. They have to drive 45 minutes to go to Fazoli's. They're sheltered, so it's an exciting time when they can go into Kansas City and go to Fazoli's. So.
Yep.
I shouldn't laugh. I probably have to drive 45 minutes to get to my nearest Fazoli's too. But I also have Five Guys down the road.
Y'all are deprived. I have like 3 Fazoli's within like 15 minutes of my. Y'all need to come visit me. We will all go to Fazoli's.
We need to have you. We used to have a lot of Fazoli's, and then they all left. And I was like, why?
Like, I had never heard of Fazoli's before the guy started talking about it on the podcast.
Crack sticks.
A restaurant that exists
Crack
in Canada.
sticks. Their breadsticks are crack. Are made out of crack. That's all you need to know.
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah. You come visit. I will show you. Anyway.
If I had more money.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
Down to the almighty
Dollar, yes.
I have massive amounts of debt that I'm still paying down.
Joys of being a student. All right.
The joys of going to a convention that I probably shouldn't have.
Too late now. Okay, we need to move on. It's gonna be it's finale season, and some of us are hyped up and others are not, and it's just anyway.
The sun's getting mighty low, you guys.
Yeah.
The sun's getting mighty low.
Yeah.
All right. Now for our next bit of news, Indiana Jones Movie 5 in the works. Disney and Lucasfilm will make a 5th Indiana Jones film eventually, although they're not quite sure when. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy confirmed in an interview with Vanity Fair. A new Indiana Jones movie will be one day made inside this company, said Kennedy. We haven't started working on a script yet, but we are talking about it. Disney brought Lucasfilms for more than $4 billion in October of 2012. The deal included the rights to the Indiana Jones franchise, although Paramount Pictures retained marketing and film distribution rights until Disney acquired them as well back in December of 2013. Back then, Walt Disney Studios chairman Alan Horn told Variety that we haven't done anything with Indiana Jones because we don't have a story. So, put that on your radar.
Yeah. It's a possibility that rumor floating around that Chris Pratt may take up the bullwhip and fedora could still possibly happen. Maybe.
I wouldn't mind it.
Maybe.
I wouldn't mind it either. Although where they don't have a script or even a story yet, that casting news sounds like it's quite premature.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would assume that they would get a story first and then get that settled, and then they can start casting. And such. Well, then they'd have to get a director, and then go from there. But what little knowledge I do have of the movie industry. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a long way off.
Maybe. So.
In the meantime, enjoy Star Wars.
Yes. That was the other part of that $4 billion acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This little Star Wars movie that's coming out on Christmas. But anyways. So, news, it's news, but not news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of news it's.
It's speculative.
It's rumors. It's the rumor mill just milling along like it does.
Right.
Oh, well, on to
actual news.
Actual
news
about
another Disney-owned property.
Yeah, if my page actually stay on the page. That didn't give it away.
Insert Kermit the Frog flail here.
Yay! All right, what the article says is that the new TV show, which has been picked up to series, will be a modern-day documentary-style show that is said to have a more adult focus than in past iterations. I can't read. That means that the series is looking to explore the lives of the mothers outside of the stage, looking into the personalized triumphs, failures, relationships, and more. The series comes from writers Bill Trady and Bob Cushell. How do they have those? How do you pronounce it? Anyone know?
I don't know. Cushell? Cushell?
Cushell?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't know.
Sorry, Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
Who also served as executive producers alongside Randall Unhorn and Bill Beretta.
Beretta?
Like the gun?
That works. According to Entertainment Weekly, the pilot presentation receives a standing ovation from ABC's executives. Which sounds... I like this, what they're saying that the show is going to be.
It's going to be like The Office.
Yeah, I know.
With the Muppets.
Parks and Recreation.
Yes.
So, that'd be interesting.
Although, but like they're saying it have a more adult focus. I hope it's not too adults, because it would still be nice to be able to, watch this with your kid, like with kids, or have kids watch it too.
Well, maybe it'll be one of those things that have adult jokes that go over kids' heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like with Once Upon a Time, where they throw stuff in there that's all like, that's kind of risque for Disney, but then you're like, a little kid won't realize what they're talking about.
Well, and it also, I just thought of, because I know Sesame Street's been doing like parodies of Game of Thrones and Avengers,
Breaking
and
Bad.
Like that, where you think, Breaking Bad, where it's like adults get it there and it's funny, and the kids like it because oh, it's Sesame Street, and it's like Game of Thrones. It's about counting and
it's musical chairs.
It's Game of Chairs parody. Yeah, it's musical chairs. So it still has that kid appeal to it, and then they have the jokes like, I've got to get to a wedding, and because what the wedding is with Game of Thrones. Like, even those of us who don't watch it, we're all like, yeah, we know what, wedding is.
Yeah.
That's gross. You don't get married, you get dead.
Yeah.
So, I guess that could work.
Yeah. But, yay!
Yeah.
Yay, Muppets! And I was hoping that the Muppets get a new TV show after the new movies were successful. So I was happy to see that. I love them.
I do too.
I can't wait to see which characters they're going to bring back.
Oh yes, like there's so many I want. And
Me too.
I'm sure they'll all get in the rotation somewhere.
Yeah.
yeah. Did they say? Do we know like about when? Or I can't remember if
I don't know if they'll
that.
try to get it out this fall or maybe a mid-season replacement, but I mean it's been officially greenlit, so
Yeah, well they've done the pilot, so I mean it could be this fall.
yeah.
Why the heck not?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Alrighty then. Moving on.
Heroes Reborn gets an air date. Sort of.
Yeah.
NBC has announced their 2015-2016 schedule, which has the highly anticipated Heroes Reborn miniseries event set to appear this fall on Thursday nights at 8 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah. The saga behind the 2006 breakout series Heroes will continue this fall as creator Tim Kring returns to the fold and develops new layers to his original superhero content. This highly anticipated 13-episode event series will reconnect with the basic element of the show's first season, where ordinary people were waking up to the fact that they had extraordinary abilities. With the return of Heroes Reborn, NBC will launch a digital series prior to the premiere that will introduce new characters and storylines that will take the Heroes phenomenon to new places. NBC's digital platforms, as well as Hulu and Video On Demand, will debut the online prequel to the series prior to the show's premiere.
So sometime in August, probably.
Yeah, it'll
on a Thursday.
Yeah, pick a Thursday in August. You've got probably a 1 out of 4
August or
chance of being
September.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that sounds exciting. Hopefully they do well.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
I think we have a little bit of an idea.
Oh yeah.
Just a smidge.
I'm intrigued.
Mm.
I mean, I loved Heroes back in the day when it was on, and then it got canceled. So, like, you know, when things get canceled, you're sort of like, oh, okay, well, that's gone. And then things come back.
I held on to my Heroes fandom for a year after it got canceled, and then by then I was into Doctor Who, so it kind of Heroes interest went down as Doctor Who interest went up. But then with this new news of the Heroes Reborn, like you coming back with Heroes Reborn, that interest is coming right back. So,
yeah. It's kind of like last year when they did 24 Another Day, and they had that mini-series, and I was like, oh my gosh, so excited again. And then it ended, and then I was like, oh, you killed off that character and that character. Why did you do that? But now it's like,
well,
okay, we're done.
I think for Heroes, they're going to be focusing on all new characters, with the exception of the ones we know are coming back.
Right.
And the ones we know are coming back will probably serve as guides to the new character. The new characters. So
that would make sense.
I think yeah.
Well, I still haven't seen it, Heroes, and that's definitely on my on top of my list to watch this summer.
I think it's on Netflix.
We're coming upon the hiatus.
Yeah.
So.
It was on Netflix, so if it's still on Netflix, then there you go. So.
Yeah. That sounds 4 seasons isn't too bad.
Yeah.
I can get that done.
It's like, that's nothing.
I got 3 seasons
of... Season 2 was like 11 episodes.
Hey, I thought...
I did 7.5 seasons of Doctor Who in like 3 or 4 months, so that's nothing.
No problem.
No
I
problem.
got through Once Upon a Time, the 3 seasons, in like less than a week.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Well, there you go.
Well,
You are the undisputed.
All 4
champion
seasons of Heroes are on Netflix.
Watching.
There you go.
Sweet.
There you go.
Well,
All right,
that's
right,
for
Brittany, that is your cue.
Mitch, is that but is that for the Canada one, Canadian? Because I know
Well, I
Canadian.
Well, I know.
Hold
Well,
on,
it
I
is
will
on
check.
Canadian, but yeah, one of you can check American.
I'm checking American as we speak, so as soon as it loads, slowly, there's the spinning circle of loading. Oh, it is not. Okay. Holly's internet is clearly faster than mine.
There you go.
There we go. Well, I didn't see why it wouldn't be on American Netflix. I mean, it's very rare that Canadian Netflix has something that American Netflix doesn't.
Yeah.
True.
It's more likely the other way around.
Yeah.
Which is why I've had to use all the better internet to watch some stuff.
Yeah. You Canadians are so deprived.
Yeah, but we have
You don't have
around it, like
links and
all the better internet.
Yeah.
So.
You have nationalized healthcare in Tim Hortons, so you're not that deprived.
Exactly. You guys need to come here so I can treat you all to Tim Hortons.
I love Tim Hortons.
Me too. I've been to.
No offense, but American Tim Hortons isn't quite the same.
I look forward to it.
I don't even know what Tim Hortons is.
They're the best donuts in the entire universe is what they are.
I can treat you to Tim Hortons.
Yeah. They're donuts, and they're the best donuts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I love donuts. I've never seen them engender such emotion out of anybody. Even Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yeah, no. Krispy Kreme,
Tim Hortons,
Dunkin' Donuts.
Tim Hortons is a national identity.
Yes.
For Canadians.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
I
can.
have never been to Canada.
There's a few in Michigan. There's some in Michigan. There's some in New York. I've seen a random one in like Ohio once. So we have them every now.
There's some in Maine.
Yeah, there's some in a few places in North America. There's one that when we go camping every year. There's one on the route to the cabin, so we have to stop on the way up and on the way home.
So is Tim Hortons the only donuts, or do they?
No, it's donuts and muffins and sandwiches and soup and coffee and cheese.
Okay, so it's.
But it's
like a
It started out as donuts. It started out as donuts and coffee, I think, and then they started expanding.
Okay. Got it. So it's sort of like a sandwich bakery.
Yes.
Ish.
But it's all about the donuts.
Yeah, the donuts are made.
All right.
And if you're a coffee person, the coffee too. But I'm not a coffee person.
The coffee is I'm told really good coffee. I don't drink coffee
I
myself,
don't either.
but Tim Hortons is
neither do I.
really good.
Have the hot
Yeah,
chocolate. They have really
like
good hot chocolate.
Tea and hot chocolate and all that sort of stuff.
Anyway.
So it's kind of like A&W, where you go there for the root beer, but then they have they spun out and did like burgers and fries and shakes and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I am sufficiently educated in the ways of Tim Hortons.
If anyone from Tim Hortons happens to hear this, we will gladly take.
My sister met her fiance working at Tim Hortons.
We will gladly take gift cards. You can email us.
There's a rousing endorsement there. Anyway.
Okay, moving on. I'm gonna get hungry now, and I'm gonna be mad because the closest Tim Hortons is like 6 hours away. So,
Put it on your list.
Yeah.
The closest Tim Hortons is like a 10-minute walk.
You're just making me mad. Moving on. Anyway.
Come on, Rachel.
I'm already emotional because of this next piece of news, because some of it makes me really happy and some of it makes me really sad. We are into finale season, but we are also firmly into all the networks going, all right, who are we going to renew and who are we going to give the axe? Which a lot of the renewals we've already known of. We knew that The Librarians is coming back. We know Doctor Who is coming back. We know that Daredevil is coming back. But some of the others that have been announced recently, the 100, which I think Mitch started watching.
Yes, I did, and it's the 100.
The 100. Sorry.
The 100.
You corrected.
The one.
Sorry!
100.
You told me that last time. I forgot.
Put the 1 in there.
They should just spell it out 200 then. So that we read it right.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
2 episodes in, but
They
episode
didn't.
5 made me cry.
Oh, that's
Well,
So the 100.
People were being very selfless and sacrificing themselves for their loved ones, and it was
okay, don't say anything in case one of us decides to watch it.
Yeah.
And then we
okay.
can go in and
But
be like,
it was very, very emotional for me.
okay.
Okay, so the 100 has been renewed. Castle, The Flash, Arrow, Gotham, iZombie, which I know Brittany started watching, that got renewed.
It's good.
Yeah.
it's
I'm
good.
enjoying it.
Sleepy Hollow, and ones that really mean dear and dear to us, Once Upon a Time.
Yay.
Well,
Well, given the way
I'm
the
reserving until I see
finale
the-
just ended, they needed
la 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 la
another
la la
season.
la.
Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil, don't
It's not
spoil.
spoiling. I'm just saying the way the
I know,
cliffhanger was
I
like.
know.
They opened it to
they
continue.
definitely needed another
Keep
season
going,
on that.
keep going.
Yeah. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got renewed for a 3rd season, so yay! And one I'm especially happy of, Agent Carter got renewed, so yay! Oh.
That one I was not sure. Like I wanted to go, but really wasn't sure how if they were. And now I'm just like, yay.
Yeah.
They were stringing us along with Agent Carter,
Yeah.
whether or not it was going to do this. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
they did it. So woohoo!
Yeah. The canceled list, at least for us, most of the shows that got canceled were stuff that I don't think any of us ever watched and would ever care about. They're all like those shows that you saw come on at the beginning of the fall and you're like, yeah, that's not going to last.
Yeah.
And they didn't. So, but
So
of the ones that we actually cared about, apparently Grace Point officially got the axe. So there's no chance of that coming back.
we knew that.
Well, we knew that one a while ago.
Yeah.
It's like,
Officially got the axe, especially now David Tennant's doing AKA Jessica Jones, so he's busy. He's busy doing other stuff. But the one that got me and Holly and Brittany, and I'm pretty sure we all cried at least for a little bit, is Forever. Got canceled!
No, this one I expected to stick around, and I was like,
didn't.
okay, I'm gonna watch it, but I just didn't have time to watch it. Like I'll catch up over the summer and watch season 2 when it starts, and it didn't, and I was like, what the crap?
I am so mad. You have no... I thought it had already been renewed. I thought I'd read somewhere that they had already given it a green light for season 2. And then this came out. I saw one of my friends post about it being canceled. I'm like, wait, what? I thought it had already been renewed for season 2. And she's like, no, it got canceled. I went and I looked at all the various websites are like, here's what's been canceled. And it was like, they're in black and white. I'm like, no.
And the thing that consulted for the more, a few days later, they interviewed the creator, and he kind of gave a little bit about what would have happened in season 2. And it's like,
oh.
Everybody I know that watches this show is
So mad.
Like, I got Facebook friends
So,
who are just
so
like,
mad.
why?
it's like
Oh.
firefighting.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like
maybe
apparent.
like
Yeah.
Netflix or Hulu or something.
We could hope. We could hope. So I mean, there's this big old push from like all like the Hollywood elite trying to save Constantine, and we're all over here like, we want the show with the immortal MD in New York. Please bring it back. We need Henry Morgan in our lives.
Yep. We need Henry Morgan. We need Lucas. We need Abe.
Ugh. I'm so mad. So mad. Apparently it took the cast by surprise. I posted a link on our Facebook a couple days after to an article with Yoan's post, like Instagram post with his long like love letter to the fans. Like he took it hard. Apparently he had his wife like tweet for him because he was so upset that he couldn't do it. And when he finally collected himself, he posted this like long letter on Instagram to the fans, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm so upset.
I haven't watched one episode of it, and I'm upset.
Oh, it's so
going
good.
to watch it.
So good. The only good thing is the way the season finale was. It pretty much tied it up so that it, But I mean, there's still stuff that could be explored from here on out. But at the same time, I mean, it ended not on any sort of like cliffhanger or anything, not like some other shows do. But
major one.
But still, it's like, oh, I'm mad. I'm mad.
Mm-hmm. And when you've made Rachel mad, batten down the hatches, folks.
Yeah.
And Holly y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was the first person to find out. I like posted it on our old chat, and Brittany's like, I didn't want to wake up to that news.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry.
I think I saw it while I was working, and I was just like, dang it, why?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe we'll get lucky, and it'll get picked up again somewhere. There's always a possibility. So anyway, so there's that. So and there's a link to the most up-to-date list from every network you could think of and every show you could possibly think of, and it's only current shows. So if there's anything like new coming, like the Muppets, that's not listed. But anything that was currently on TV, it tells you whether it was canceled or whether it's been picked up and what season or for how many seasons. Because some shows got picked up for multiple seasons. So, like The Big Bang Theory got got renewed for seasons 9 and 10. They went ahead and renewed it for 2 more seasons instead of just 1. So, so you can read that list and either be really happy or weep. Depending on...
I'm still waiting on a few shows
on your fandom.
Announced.
So... Oh, my. So, well... With that, let's move on to something more pleasant than that. So... In honor of Mother's Day, we did this way back in, episode 2? It was like our second episode. It happened to fall on Father's Day, so we did our first top 10, and I'm doing air quotes around 10. I learned how to do top 10s from my friend Lou Mangello. He uses the word 10 very loosely when he does top 10s on his podcast. But we discussed our favorite fathers in various fandoms, so now that Mother's Day is here, we thought we'd give our fandom mothers a go or mention. So I guess we can just start at the top of the list and we'll alternate. So I'm at the top, so I'll do one, and then Holly can do one, and then Chrissy and Mitch and Brittany, and we'll work our way down. Then we'll go through the list again. So if that's fine by everyone. So
Sounds good.
And
good to me.
yeah. So and our moms cover several various fandoms. There's a few that come from the same fandom, but, you know, some fandoms have more moms than others. It was interesting when we were making the list, and I was thinking of all my fandoms, and I'm like, yeah, stuff I watch really doesn't have a lot of moms.
Well,
apparently
Disney,
everyone takes the
moms
Disney.
aren't there.
Yeah, apparently everyone takes the Disney approach, and, you know, moms need not apply or something.
Well, establishing character trait if you didn't grow up with your mother, which kind of lends to the idea that, yeah, your mom's pretty important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Traditionally.
Yes.
But
we
won't go into that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So my first mom that I thought of, and I'm sure probably came to mind for a lot of people when you think of awesome moms in various fandoms, and somebody that I would happily let them adopt me is Molly Weasley from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And she probably had one of the best lines in the whole history of
Exactly.
Yes.
Which
You
we will
cannot-
not. We
you
will
would be
not.
hard pressed to find a better line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which we will not quote because we try to keep this a clean podcast. But if
Exactly.
you've read the books or seen the movie, you know which line we're talking about.
Yes. And bear in mind, this is the series where Dumbledore and all of his inspirational words of motivation and inspiration and whatever is grand speechifying, and then you get Molly Weasley coming in to defend her daughter from Bellatrix Lestrange, and it's like, oh heck yes.
Yes.
You
Like
took it on
that is
the bear.
Team Mom right there, Team Mama Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing about Molly is she is like, I mean, the Weasleys, it's established in the story. They don't have a lot of money. They have to, you know, make do with what they have. But at the same time, and they have a lot of kids, and so, you know, they scrape by. At the same time, Molly is the one, like, when Harry comes over, you know, she's making him feel welcome, and not just because he's the famous Harry Potter. It's because, you know, here's this boy that he doesn't have a good family life. His parents are gone, and he's never known, you know,
A real loving
mother,
family.
And she just, or a loving family, and she just welcomes him in, and Hermione as well. Like, and with Hermione it's a little bit different because she's, you know, a Muggle born, and she's learning. I mean, she knows magic in an academic sense, but she's learning like the customs and the culture of the. I think that kind of lends to part of it. And Molly loves all these kids. She's just and she does it in a way that, you know, her kids are something like Ron is in the first book is like when they get the Weasley sweaters for Christmas, and Ron's all, oh, I got another sweater or whatever, but, you know, and Harry's like really touched that Molly sent him a Weasley sweater, even though they really hadn't met at that point. And, you know, that's just the type of person she is. Like, bringing everybody into the fold.
Absolutely. And she's a mom through and through. I mean, when they're cleaning up Grimwald Place and she discovers the boggart in the cabinet or whatever, and, like, you know, the boggart always shows you, like, your deepest fear, or, you know, the thing you dread the most. And no matter how many times she says ridiculous and tries to make the boggart disappear, it just constantly cycles through each of her children and Harry and Hermione and her husband dead, which just goes to show how much she cares about everyone, whether they're family or not, you know, whether they're her family, you know, her kids or not. She's just, you know, and she's constantly making sure they're fed, and you know, they may not have had a lot of money, but what the Weasleys made up for was in love.
Yes, and the Harry Potter books constantly go over the fact that, you know, it doesn't matter how much money you have, because even Harry, there are moments when Harry he says like he would gladly split the money in his vaults with the Weasleys, but he knew they'd never take it, and it constantly says, like, you know, the most important thing you have in this world is love. It's family. It's not just money, because, you know, and it doesn't really the books really don't go into a whole lot of, wealth, between wealth and poor. I mean, you have the Malfoys, who, they're a loving family in their own way, I guess.
Sorry.
Okay, no. Let me explain.
Yes.
Okay, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I have to back up here, because when in the 7th book, when Narcissa is, bending down to find out if Harry's dead, and she whispers, like, is Draco alive? Like, she cares about her son, but they're not as loving and touchy-feely about it as the Weasleys, but she's still worried about Draco, and Harry tells her, whispers to her, yes, he's fine, he's at the school, and Narcissa stands up and says, oh, he's dead, because Voldemort's expecting dead Harry. But Narcissa helps Harry because Harry told her that Draco was alive. So anyway, my point in bringing this all up is that, you can have, the money and the status and whatever, but, you're still kind of, unless you have, family, familial love and that in your life, you really don't have a whole lot.
Yes.
So that's kind of, that's a major theme of the book, is the love of your family.
Yes.
So anyway.
In that case, you're right.
Yeah.
We'll give you that one.
Malfoys are... Lucius, we don't.
Yeah.
He's got great hair. That's about all he's got going for him. It certainly isn't his personality.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, so.
Our next mom on the list is Joyce Summers, known as the mother of Buffy Summers the Slayer and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And Joyce has put up a lot, but not knowing her daughter's secret. But when she does find out, you do not want to come between her and her daughters. I mean, everything that Joyce had gone through, and then finding Buffy's secret, she at first wasn't okay with it, but then she realized what her daughter was doing, protecting herself, but then, and others from the vampires and things that will come up in the night. But she showed down some people. It's like, hey, you just leave her alone. And for crying out loud, Spike, the vampire, the one who threatened to almost kill Joyce, he even likes her.
Yeah.
So you don't cross Joyce's bedside. You leave Joyce Summers alone.
I guess maybe we, considering Joyce's, what happens to Joyce and Buffy, we probably should have put maybe a spoiler alert before we started this list. But
yeah, that's why I didn't bring up what happened.
Yeah. Go watch the episode The Body, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. I don't even really watch Buffy, and I know all about that particular episode. So
20-year-old spoilers.
Yeah. That's true. The statute of limitations is probably worn out, but just in case. So. But. Yeah, because considering what Buffy did for a living, essentially, you'd expect any mother to be protective.
Yes.
So.
Definitely. And speaking of protective mothers, now this one's an interesting one. Because in Once Upon a Time, there are a slew of moms. Some good, some not so good. But this one, she gave, it's Emma Swan, and I put her on this list because we do have Regina on here, just so before anybody freaks out.
Yeah, we'll get to Regina.
Listener land. We'll get to her.
Yeah.
But Emma, I put her down because she gave up her child. She gave up the chance to be a mother because she wasn't ready. She wasn't at the point in her life where she could be a mom. And and then she went on with her life, and she kind of, she had a crappy growing up life. There is no denying that.
Please note,
And,
Cora is not on this list.
Cora is not on this. No, heavens.
Nowhere near this.
She's on the other list, but anyway, Emma. Back to Emma, the blonde one.
Yeah.
But in the very first episode of Once Upon a Time, she gets the knock on the door, and there's this adorable little 11-year-old boy. Or is he 10? No, he's 11.
Yeah.
And she says, and it's Henry, and he says, "I'm your son," and you're just like, and she's got the look on her face like, holy crap, no way. She's like, you get the backstory that she put him up for adoption and everything, and then all through season 1, it's Henry trying to convince her of her destiny and all that, grandiose big stuff. And she's the savior. She's going to bring back everyone's happy endings and end the curse and blah blah blah. And she fights it all the way through, even though throughout the season she does things that are just in her nature, in her normal everyday nature to do. And she's not doing these great big gestures of whatever, grandness, whatever you want to call it. And in the end of the first season, spoilers.
Yeah.
Go back to our great big giant Once Upon a Time 3-hour podcast for more discussion of that. But the reason that she breaks the curse, the way she breaks the curse is Henry gets cursed. Like he stops her from eating the poison apple turnover, and he gets put under a sleeping curse. And she realizes, the way she becomes the savior is she realizes how much she loves this boy that she gave up for adoption, how much she wants to be in his life and be his, maybe not his, she wants to be a mother to him. She wants to be a mother figure to him. And then, and then she, finds out, then the curse breaks, and then she's got to figure out her own relationship with her own parents, which is another discussion for another time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's season 2 is sort of the aftermath of the curse. But then in season 3, at the beginning of season 3, Henry has been kidnapped by the Home Office, which stabbed me with a fork. I hate that thing. And then she's been, and he's kidnapped by Peter Pan, which again stabbed me with a fork in the eye. But all through the first half of season 3, it is she's a mother. She's accepted her role as Henry's mom. And there's even a moment where she's not the savior. She's not anything with these big grand aspirations. She just wants to be his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she is, and she relates to the lost boys. She wants to take them home back to their mothers and to their families, and all these things. And it's because of her. I mean, when you think of a mom, a lot of the time we think of having a baby, raising children, nurturing, and that kind of thing. But Emma does something different with her motherhood, is in that she's the cool mom. Like she does. She's what am I trying to say? I know what I'm trying to say. Because then, after the Neverland story arc, and gets sent back to the fairy tale land, but Henry can't go because he's not from the Enchanted Forest, which I'm just like, why not? Come on. I mean, he's got plenty of fairy tale heritage in his pedigree. I mean, he should be able to go just because he wasn't born there. Come on. Anyway, and then so they get sent. So Emma and Henry stay in the land without magic, and then they have the memories of them if Emma hadn't given him up and raised him, and if she'd raised him. So she did get to be a mother to him in actuality for that missing year. And she still feels that way. She still interacts with him as if she were his mother, because she did have those memories of raising him and living with him. And then in season 4, there's some of it that kind of feels like she's trying to, she is his mom.
The thing about when she has those memories of raising him, like, what did you think happened, like, when she served out her remaining sentence? Like, was he in foster care or whatever? Because she gave birth to him in
that's
prison.
a good... Yeah, so, I know, and that's
what happened
They didn't
to the
really.
babies?
They didn't really.
They sort of gloss over that. Like, they show the birth scene where
They
she,
really
like,
do.
looks at him and, like, no, I'm gonna keep him. And then it cuts to
I wonder.
them living together in New York.
Yeah, I know. I kind of wonder about that because, you know, she was 18 when he was born. She really didn't have, and she, yeah, like you said, she was in prison. Well, she was in jail. Prison's a little more harsh, but yeah, I don't know. They really don't address that, and I kind of wonder if maybe with Regina's, putting in the good memories, because that really didn't happen, but it's just the memories that she gave she gave to them. So they just sort of like, oh, that didn't happen. It's sort of like it. Okay, I'm gonna go to Doctor Who. I'm gonna pull this. In Last Christmas, where they're all in the dream state all the time, they just say it's a long story and just gloss over it because they've only been there 5 minutes, even though it seems like they've been there a week, and that's like in the dream state. You just sort of never. So I kind of think maybe that's what it is, and they just didn't really, because they just went straight from Storybrooke to Boston, and then her apartment burned down, so then they moved to New York during that missing year. So that's why they're there. So she didn't really raise him, but she has the memory of as if she did.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a gray area. So I'm gonna say they were in a dream state. It's a long story. And so that's
sure,
and
why
so
not?
with this most. Hey, it's it's as good as explanation as I got. So there we go.
Yeah.
And then so in season four, where like Henry he's doing this Operation Mongoose thing, and Emma's dealing with what she's dealing with, and she still makes time. Like, I recently rewatched Whiteout from beginning of season 4, just because I missed the Frozen story arc, and there's that scene at the beginning where Henry's kind of upset because Regina is upset, and he's trying to help his evil mom. I call him evil mom and blonde mom. And so he's trying to help her. And Emma comes in, and she's trying to cheer Henry up, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. And then the blackout happens. She has to go be a sheriff, and the cave-in happens. Then they get her out, and they take her home, and she's there, with all her boys, with her dad, and her Killian. and then there's Henry sitting there, and Henry gets up. He's like, I'm going to make you hot chocolate, because they're trying to warm her up. And she's like, wait a minute, kid. She comes and, like, wraps him up with this big hug, and she's like, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you when you needed it. And Henry's like, it's okay, I lost one, Mom, I'm not going to lose another one. And it's just, they just have this relationship where it's not this great big grand thing, but they're there for each other. And Emma is still, she's not like mom in the traditional sense, like the way Regina is. She is mom in the sense of, she's Henry's biological mother. She came into his life later, and she's still got that part of it. So she's kind of a little looser, but she's still the responsible adult with him, and she still loves him and cares about him, and it's good. It's a good thing they've got going, and I like Emma for that, for embracing that side of her that she wasn't ready to do when she actually had the baby. But now she is. Now she's recognized that this boy has a part in her life, and she has a part in his life, which is.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyone else want to say anything about Emma, or we can move on?
She's still learning. Even now, she's still learning, but considering how grown Henry is now, she'll always be his mom, but Henry's very close to being an adult, so.
It's true. And you know what? There's nothing saying Emma can't have another go at it, at being a mom.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Why ever would you think that?
I have no idea.
I've got
Yes. Chrissy has a secret Pinterest board.
I think you should put the plans.
No spoilers! No spoilers! No spoilers!
I'm just saying.
Moving on!
Okay. Hey, happy endings for all.
Yes.
The savior and her pirate.
It's just gonna. I know happy endings for all, including Captain Swan. It's just gonna take a little while because of.
Well, because the show has been renewed for another season, so they gotta drag it on.
Exactly. We'll get there.
Okay. All right. But we better go on before someone accidentally spoils.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
And when I do watch
It is
the
a
finale,
doozy.
everybody will know it. You will hear about it.
Hear about it. We will. I'm sure.
We will hear her scream.
You will hear me screaming all the way to Kitchener, Ontario.
Yes.
Yep. We won't need Facebook Messenger.
Nope. Again, moving on before somebody spoils something.
Moving on. Forward, please.
Mitch, I think it's your turn.
It is. Well, the next mom on our list hasn't always been the best mom, but she does care for her kids, and that's what's important, I think, in this situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Moira Clean from Arrow. She died in the show a while ago, so bear with. And I haven't gone back to rewatch that.
She did die for a good purpose, though.
Yes.
She died
She did.
saving her kids, protecting her kids.
Yeah. So, but
And even
it's
though
it's been a while, and I haven't gone back to rewatch that part of the show. So yeah, I'm a little
I think,
fuzzy on the details.
but I'm kind of thinking of, like, going back to that part of the story is that, she did make some really very bad mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody is disputing that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, I was just like, why are you here, Moira? Like, and she was, yeah. And, and it kind of felt like Oliver was the only one trying to keep their family together, and, like, Thea and Moira, like, didn't care anymore. Kind of toward the end, she had her redemption, like, and she talked about, like, she loves her children, she loves her family, and she would do anything for them. And even though these terrible things that she's done, she feels bad for them, and she wants to make restitution for it, and she wants to be a good example to her son and her daughter. And it's not just, for the family reputation or so they can keep their wealth or their company or all those different things. It is that she genuinely wants to do the right thing, even though the right thing ends up being the wrong thing most of the time. And like you said, the reason she died is because she was trying to protect her children. Even though one of her children is, the heroic vigilante who's been saving everybody, but he keeps his secret because he doesn't want it to get out that he's the Arrow. Anyway, so that's Moira. She's a good person. She's made some really stupid mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
All right.
They're like,
sorry,
it's like
I'm
dead.
saying what they wanna say.
It's like, oh, dead mother, and like, like, what do we do?
We're having some technical issues, so
Well,
this is new.
we're having some feels, and it's
Yeah.
the feels get in the way.
Moving on. Yeah.
Alright. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay,
you are back.
My internet is just got too many fields, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next mother on our list is Amy Pond, who, of course, is the mother to River Song, which
Wibbly
is
wobbly,
complicated.
timey-wimey.
It's, yeah.
Yeah. I tried to explain River Song's story to Chauncey once, and I'm pretty sure I smelled smoke. And
yeah, well, one of the a fairly prominent memory from back in 2011 when I was watching Let's Kill Hitler.
yeah.
Which I became familiar with the concept of regeneration really, really quick. And is that when River regenerates in Let's Kill Hitler,
Yeah.
and there's a comment about how Amy and Roy are her parents, and my cousin just happened to catch that bit and was like, okay, they're her parents, but she looks way older than them. And I'm like, and true story, I just said, she just happened to regenerate like that. Like, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I'm like, just casually, like, oh, she just regenerated.
Yeah. It's just the way the regeneration is. It's a lottery.
Yeah.
What?
You regenerate old, you regenerate young.
You regenerate, not ginger, depending on who you are.
But it's just so casual about that she regenerated to look older than her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and in the
it's
like, well, in Let's Kill Hitler, and they're like, yeah, you named Melody after your friends. Like, no, you named your daughter after your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my casual about regeneration is that she just happened to regenerate older than her parents. And like, I don't know what it means.
She's mature.
That casual about regeneration, like less than a year into being a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah.
Like, should I be that
casual?
You were
that
very
quickly?
good. Should I be that casual?
Hey, we'll go with it.
It works.
Yeah,
Run with
go
it.
with it.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
I just, and like even to this day, I think about that. And like, I was really familiar with this concept really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
thing older than her parents. It's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Moving.
Yeah. The thing with Amy was for genetic purposes, she's a mom, but she never got the mothering experience because of what happened with River's storyline. That's the thing.
But
yeah.
if you take the PS from the end of Amy's Take Manhattan as canon, she did eventually get that chance.
Yes.
Just not with a biological child.
Right.
Yeah. What I like about Amy, and I think that they did address this in the episode of The Wedding of River's Song, when they have that alternate, timeline is all screwy and stuff going on, and they have, Special Agent Amy Pond with the eye patch and everything, and she's facing down Madame Kavarian at the end, and Amy's got the chance to save Madame Kavarian, and don't let her, not kill her and everything, and Amy looks at her, and she's, gonna fix the eye patch and do the thing, and she's like, you took my little girl from me, and she's all right now, she's all grown up, but I didn't get to be her mother, and, River didn't get all her ruthlessness, I'm paraphrasing, all her ruthlessness from the doctor or from you or from any of that. She got it. Yeah, she didn't get it all from you. And Amy is just, she goes total, mama bear on Madame Kavarian because she took her little girl away from her, and for that she must face the consequences. And it's a really scary moment from Amy, but I think it's one that's well deserved because the silence or Madame Kavarian, whatever their group, the Kavarian sect of the
Silence
Church of the Silence, whatever. I mean, they did something terrible to Amy in kidnapping her when she was pregnant and taking her baby away from her, and you know, just how in A Good Man Goes to War, you just see how devastated she is that her child is gone,
Right.
and she wanted to be her mother, and even at the end when they're in Angels Take Manhattan, and she's saying goodbye to River and the doctor, and she tells River, you know, you be a good girl, even though River, yes, is older than her, but River still thinks of her as her mother, and you know, she loves her mother. And they have these really tender moments. They find ways to put that in there, and where they're not overbearing on the story, they're not focused.
In
they're still
God Complex, when Amy tells the doctor, "If you see my daughter, tell her to drop in and say hi to her old mom."
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah. Or in
yeah. So they still treat her like she's their daughter, and she treats them like they're her parents, because they are, even though it's very
Weird.
It's got to be her parents in a very roundabout, odd way. Like she was, and they have that moment in Let's Kill Hitler at the beginning when, you know, they're showing them growing up, and Amy's waiting for Mel's outside the principal's office and berating her for getting into trouble again. And so she did get to be a mother. In a sense,
but it's when they were about the same age, or looked the same age anyway.
Yeah. So,
Which
it's an interesting way of going about it, and Amy did still get to be your mother, just not in the traditional way.
right.
Which nothing is traditional when the doctor is involved, so you know, you just might as well forget about that.
yeah. Yeah.
Very true. It still cracks me up because, you know, because Amy is River's mother, and what is it in the Wedding River song when everything writes itself? And then River comes to
mother-in-law.
Yeah, and River comes to visit Amy and Rory after and she had just come from the Byzantium, I think, and she lets Amy know that the doctor's still alive, and she's like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "I know, I'm absolutely sure. I'm his wife." And Amy's like, "Yeah, and I'm his mother-in-law."
Oh dear.
Just need another glass of wine.
Daddy dear, I think
Mommy needs another glass of wine.
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah. Gotta love it.
Story.
Yeah. Yeah. And if that doesn't make sense to you at all, go watch just all of everything.
Series 5 and 6.
Yeah, go watch Series 5 and 6. I need to have Chauncey do that.
And the first half of Series 7.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Because that's basically the entire Amy, River, Rory storyline is encapsulated in those 2.5 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit with River and the Doctor at the end of Series 7, but that's kind of a separate
Not with Amy.
issue. Yeah, well, because Amy's gone by then.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Just watch Doctor Who.
Yes,
Just, your life will be more enriched for having done so.
It's on Netflix.
Yep, go watch
it. It's on Netflix and I think Hulu Plus and some other places.
That's all you need to know. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
So.
It's on Netflix.
Alrighty then. Moving on. I think everybody's had
in Doctor Who.
Yeah, so I think everybody's had a go. So, for my second choice, staying in Doctor Who, like Mitch just said, not as much screen time.
I think.
Yeah, not as much screen time as Amy, but nonetheless an important mother figure.
Very important.
In the Doctor Who universe, is Jackie Tyler, Rose Tyler's mother. Jackie had it rough. You know, if you're familiar with it, you know, she got married and got pregnant with Rose, and they didn't have much money, her and Pete, and then Pete ended up dying, getting hit by a car, so she had to raise Rose, as a single parent in the estates, and Jackie's just one of those mothers that she always wanted what's best for Rose, but at the same time, she wanted to protect her, even if it wasn't. She would think it was the best thing for Rose, but it wasn't really what the best thing was for Rose. Rose meets the doctor and discovers this whole other way of life, and realizing there's more to life than beans on toast and going to work every day and watching telly and going to pubs on the weekends and all that. And we see that especially in Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways, when the doctor sends Rose home, and Rose is trying to figure out how to get back to the doctor, and Jackie's like, just stay here, it's stay here and go back to working in the shop, and Rose is not hearing it. Yeah. And it's all just, Jackie has seen some of what Rose encounters with her life with the doctor, with the whole thing with the Savine earlier in the season. And Jackie's just coming from a place of where she wants to protect her kid, but Rose has grown so much and wants more for herself, and Jackie just she can't let go. But she eventually does. I mean, she ends up helping Rose and helps her get back to the doctor, and she just kind of just learns to deal with this crazy life that Rose has with the doctor, and Mickey ends up going off with them for a while and all that. But in the end, after everything that Jackie has gone through, the universe kind of rewards her, I guess, and gives her a second chance with Pete. The alternate parallel version of Pete, but I mean it's Pete. It's a Pete that was successful, and they have money. She's now rich, and she gets to have another child after all these years. They end up having a little boy, little Tony, and ends up with the life that she probably thought she would never get.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's interesting in that I think it's Doomsday when she meets alternate Pete, and they're kind of having this moment because his Jackie died in the alternate universe.
Yeah.
And they're meeting together, and she's kind of like, and he's kind of like, and Jackie's like, yeah, we didn't have much, you were gone and all this stuff, and and she kind of realizes that, or she kind of thinks, she hasn't been a very good, she's kind of a screw up is kind of how she feels, because and a lot of it is you kind of see the contrast. Rose seems a lot more mature than Jackie in some respects, but Pete, alternate Pete, he looks at Rose and he's just like, well, you did okay with her, like you raised her right.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackie, you kind of see it in her face, like that her husband that she thought she lost forever, and she's been trying to do her best since he died and to raise their daughter. And you kind of see all that weight of all that anxiety and stress of being a single parent, and without and her losing her husband, it just kind of melts away from her. And she runs to him, and they hug, kiss, and all of that. And it's a really tender moment, and it's because Pete acknowledged that you did good with our daughter. You did well. You raised her right. And I'm paraphrasing. I haven't seen that in a while, but I just that scene has always stuck with me, because I don't know, I'm not a parent, I'm not a mom, someday maybe, but I just kind of think of just how much pressure in general parents put on themselves, especially moms. I notice and they just kind of they wonder, like, did I do a good job?
Mm-hmm.
Even if your kids are successful and have a good life, you still kind of wonder, are they okay? Are they going to be fine? How are they doing? And just to kind of have that validation of, yeah, you did good and you did your best, and she's fine. She's Rose does pretty well for herself, all things considered, and then you have at the end of series 4 when Jackie and Mickey come back from the alternate universe, and they're looking for Rose, and she's got the great big gun, and she's like, where the hell is my daughter?
Mm-hmm.
and she's looking for all that. And she's there for Rose, like in Doomsday when she's left on the beach, and it's Jackie that's there when the doctor, disappears from. She's there. She's
Mm-hmm.
the one that's gonna comfort Rose and all this and all these things. So even after the doctor leaves, Jackie is there for Rose always, and that's how it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jackie.
Yeah.
Of the
Yeah.
and the thing is with Jackie, and we'll move on here in a second, but the thing with Jackie is, and I think that's something that I think maybe helped when Doctor Who came back, is before in Doctor Who we didn't, every now and then we would get a glimpse of the companions' lives outside of the TARDIS, but never I don't think really as in depth as they do now. And having Rose and seeing Jackie and Mickey and learning about the episode Father's Day and seeing exactly what happened to Pete and all of that, and just getting that the companions' lives and learning more about those, I think maybe the new series more relatable. I think.
Yeah, that definitely helped.
Which
Yeah.
the
'Cause, I mean-
anniversary of the episode Father's Day is this Thursday,
See, there you go.
May 14th.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I think we joke about it, and I joke about it all the time with Chauncey. I'm always like, if the doctor if the TARDIS was to show up, I'd be like, bye, see ya, and I'm 90% joking, 10% not, but at the end of the day, it's like, would I want to leave? I would take Chauncey with me, but it's like, would I really want to leave my mom and my dad and my brother, behind, with knowing that there's a possibility I may never see them again? Because you just never know with the life with the doctor. I mean, the companions don't really know that going in, with a few exceptions. But, I mean, they stick around anyway. Even once they figure out how dangerous it is. But, all of us watching the show, if Doctor Who were... we know. And it's like, would we really risk that for the adventure and the chance to travel in the TARDIS? And that's, I think, something that showing those families helps make it more relatable. Because, I mean, the whole idea of the companions is really to give us put ourselves in the companion's shoes, and experience the life of the Doctor through the companion's eyes. So, and the few, I mean, we've had Rose, we've had Martha, we've had Donna, we've had Amy, and we've had Clara, and Clara's mother is passed, so we haven't, we've seen Clara's mother briefly, but that's it. And then Martha and Donna's mothers are not going to be on this list. Sorry.
True.
No.
We didn't have enough room.
Yeah. They redeem themselves towards the end of their storylines, but for the most part, neither Martha or Donna's mothers were all like, "Yeah, I would not want to be friends with you. Sorry." So.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. So. Moving on.
Moving on to our next mother. On the other side of the coin for Emma Swan, we have Regina Mills, Henry's adopted mom. Okay.
And technically Henry's step-grandmother.
Yeah, well, we don't look.
That makes the head
We don't
hurt.
look too close at the Once Upon a Time family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes your head hurt.
It's basically summed up as Henry Mills and the Thanksgiving dinner of doom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, Regina's interesting because in the first season, she is the evil queen. She is the antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's trying to stop. Yeah, you don't root for her, but then you kind of find out why she is the way she is, and it's all back to her mother.
Again, Cora is not on this list.
Cora is not on this list in any way, shape, or form. Thank goodness, and I wish they'd have left her. Yeah. Anyway, we won't go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple podcasts down the road.
Yep. We'll get to that in a couple weeks.
That's for another. Yeah. Regina is, I mean, and Henry, even with, little Henry, because I feel like I have to differentiate, because there's little Henry when he was little, and then, Jared Gilmore's just grown up, and it's just like, oh, you're a big teenager now, but he's still adorable. But, and he's like, he's got the storybook, and he says, you're the evil queen, and Regina is legitimately trying to be a good mother, but she just didn't have a very good example. The other thing is, sometimes, and they kind of mention this, like sometimes when kids are adopted, and I don't know anything about this, I just know what I've read and heard and what people tell me. Sometimes adopted kids, wonder why, they were given up for adoption. Do my adopted parents who raised me, or do they really love me? All these different things. Kind of go through all this. And Regina, she genuinely loves her son. She genuinely loves Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Just for a long time, she wasn't really sure how she was going to show it, because she didn't have the best of examples. And then in season 2 is kind of when you start to see Regina figure out how to live her life as not the evil queen, but as, something better, something else, and something more positive. And I think, and that has to do a lot with her love for Henry.
Mm-hmm.
And they deal with this in season 3. It's towards the end of the Neverland arc, there's a flashback of showing how Regina got Henry, and at first when she found out that he was the Savior's biological son, she flipped out, but then she's like, no, I will forget about this, and I will just love this child as my own. He is my son. I love him. And she, creates a forgetting potion, and she tells this really sweet story about there was this queen, and she had her little prince, and she wanted to keep him safe, but there were things that were threatening him. But now she's going, he's always going to be your son, and she's going to love him forever. And Henry turns around, because even he struggled with, my mom's the evil queen, and blah, blah, blah. But now it's like he's
come to terms with he's the good winner.
Yes. And that is a key part. What I love about Regina's story is that she realizes that she is worthy of love from her son and from Robin Hood as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's that she accepts that, and for a long time, like she only saw herself as the evil queen because she had done so many bad things, and everybody was afraid of her, and then even Storybrooke, people hated her. It took Emma and even Snow White to kind of reach out, although Snow White to a lesser degree, but again, we won't go into that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Regina, she had to figure it out in her own way, and I think that she's come a long way, and that's what I do like about her. And I don't enjoy when they go back and revisit the evil queen things. I'm like, we're past this.
Yeah.
Like, we're done. I want to see her, fully in her reformed states, because
Yeah.
she's done so well, and it is down
She
to
has, yeah. I mean, of all, I mean, we'll get into this in a couple weeks when we do a recap of the season, but I mean, just in general, yeah, I was talking to a friend about Once Upon a Time the other day, and we were talking about the different characters, and it's like, you know, Emma's done what Emma's done, and the Charmings have done what they done, and Rumple is Rumple, but you know, of all the characters that have grown so much from that very first season, Regina has just come so far as a person and as a character, and bless the writers for, you know, giving her the character development that they have, and it's just, give Lana an award or something. It's like, please.
Between her and Captain Hook, like, I know Captain Hook wasn't there in season 1, but I would venture to say, you know, he's had just as much, you know, character development and redemption arc as Regina, and I think that's why those two characters are two of the most popular characters this show has, and it's because everybody loves a good redemption story, and Regina, you know, learning to be a mother, and this season, like, going back to Whiteout. Again, like, there was that scene where he's going to cheer his mom up, and he looks up on Google how to get over a breakup, and he has that little gift basket of chocolate and DVDs and wine and everything, and how devastated he is when his mom sends him a message and says that she doesn't want him to come over, and not because she doesn't want him around, it's because she just can't. She just wants to be alone. She just wants to close herself off because of, you know, Marion and all that storyline. And then Henry, bless his little true believer heart, I love Henry, he goes and he bangs down the door and he says, I don't care if you're hurting, I don't care, this is, you know, I want to see you, you can't shut me out, and I miss my room. He shuts the door, and he's there at the front door, and it's like, just because she lost Robin Hood, she still has Henry, and she still has her little prince, and it's just like, oh, and then they start down the whole Operation Mongoose thing together, and Henry's all excited about it because it's gonna help his mom get her
happy ending
back, and he's just so gung ho for it, and it's just like, oh, you precious nugget.
That scene with the two of them and Granny's bonding over comic books. I wanted
yes,
that in season 1.
Yeah, and she's reading Thor and Avengers and stuff with him. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is like perfect.
Yeah.
Oh. So yeah.
Oh my. We love Regina.
Yeah. We do. And her snark is just a bonus.
Yeah.
Just one of the other services that she provides besides Radio the City.
Exactly. Yes. Anyway. All right. Moving on. This is one I threw in here, and it's kind of a little timey-wimey, but not quite as complex as Amy Pond. So this one is from Sailor Moon. If you are familiar with this story. And I put this out here because they put more episodes from the season 2 dub, the new English dub, and I'm really enjoying it. And this is where this element of the story comes in. Anyway, Isagi Tsukino, who is Sailor Moon, in the story. Okay, I'll just kind of explain this real quick. You know, she's 14 years old. She finds out she's a superhero and a princess, and she's kind of, you know, she's like, holy crap, that's a lot of responsibility, but she does it her very best. And in season 2, there's this little girl who comes out of nowhere, and she's saying that her name is Usagi Tsukino as well, and they're just like, who the heck are you, kid? And you find out later that she's from the 30th century, and, you know, there's a lot of magical girl anime mumbo jumbo that explains why she's from the 30th century. I won't go into it too much, but she is Usagi's future daughter. And, you know, that's kind of, it's sort of like in Back to the Future, when, you know, Marty goes back in time and meets his parents in high school, and, you know, they, you know, and this little girl, they nickname her Chibiusa, which is little Usagi, just to differentiate. And Chibiusa, she meets Usagi, and she's like, this can't be my mother, because her mother is this beautiful, ethereal, goddess-like, classy, graceful woman that, everybody just adores, and her father loves her, and just all these different things. Usagi is none of that. She is a klutz. She sucks at school. She eats too much. And Chibiusa is just like, this cannot be my mother at all. I was like, I can't. And I think the new Sailor Moon Crystal brings this out a lot in the most recent episode. And Chibiusa she doesn't trust Usagi, and Usagi doesn't trust Chibiusa either. And in the present time, and then there's all these these enemies are going, all these things people are fighting, and Chibiusa's in danger, and they're all trying to protect her and keep her safe from the bad guys, because the 30th century is in danger from these villains. But as time goes on, and especially in the anime and in the manga a little bit, Usagi and Chibiusa, their relationship, what starts out really rocky and really full of suspicion and hatred and a lot of secrets, but then they find out about what their true relationship is, and Usagi she's got the biggest heart of anybody. Like, she'll she reforms people just by loving them, and that's just how she is. And she embraces the fact that Chibiusa is her daughter, and she's going to be a mom someday, and this is her little girl, and they're so alike. It's so funny how alike they are. And you think about you think about sometimes. Well, I do. I don't know what you guys do. You think about if you'd have known your parents when they were your age or younger, if you'd have known them in high school, would you be friends with them? And I kind of think about that with my parents, and some of the things I think about, like, I don't think I would have been friends with my dad at all. Maybe not, and I don't even know if I would have been friends with my mom either, just what little I know about them. Because my dad was like, Mr. Popularity, and everybody loved him. I just thought he was a selfish jerk or something. I don't know. But now I love my dad. But it's just, I love the storyline. I love the future storyline in Sailor Moon that their daughter comes back, and you learn about him, and Chibiusa's been told these grand stories about Sailor Moon, how she's this wonderful hero, and she finally meets the girl who is Sailor Moon, and it's like nothing what she thinks is going to happen. But they still have a really good relationship over time. It's when Chibiusa comes back to the past, they really feel like sisters. But then there's these moments when Chibiusa's in trouble, and Sailor Moon, she goes straight into Mama Bear protective mode. There's an excellent episode in the second season of the original anime where there's a couple of them. When I think about it, there's one where Chibiusa runs off and she gets cornered by the villains, and the Sailor Guardians come, and they're fighting the villains, and Sailor Moon is protecting Chibiusa, and you just kind of, and Chibiusa just has this look on her face, and this is after she finds out that Sailor Moon is Usagi, and she gets this look on her face like, why are you protecting me? I've been this bratty little girl. I've deliberately been a little snot to you. And Sailor Moon's just like, I promised I'd protect you. I'm going to save you. And then there's another episode where Chibiusa steals Usagi's locket that allows her to transform into Sailor Moon. And because she can't transform into Sailor Moon, her friends get kidnapped. And Usagi is just so upset about this, and she lashes out at Chibiusa. And Chibiusa feels bad that she did that, but she's still not going to give up the locket because it's got the crystal in it that she needs. And then she finally does, and then she and Sailor Moon kind of team up. This is like Chibiusa's big moment. She's going to help her idol, her hero, and her mother, and help her to save her friends. And so, I don't know, it's a storyline I just love. I love season 2 for that reason. And I know a lot of people are like, there's elements of season 2 which are not great, but that one I think is quite good. And as the seasons go on, because Chibiusa comes back after she goes home, and then she comes back and becomes Sailor Chibi Moon, and it's so cute because they fight together, and she gets to be a hero in her own right, and I think that's just fantastic. So anyway, so I guess so Usagi, she loves everybody, but especially she loves her daughter, as they get to know each other, and it's kind of an interesting way of finding out you're going to be a mom. You're 14 years old, and your future child shows up and says hi.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I posted this because I was rewatching Back to the Future one day a few weeks ago, and I posted this on Facebook, and I just like, wouldn't it be nice if your child from the future showed up and said, that one, go get him.
Yeah.
Because that's what Marty does with George and Lorraine. Anyway, that was off topic.
Parallels. Alrighty.
That's what you do with time travel stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, alrighty. Mitch, I think it's your turn.
Is it?
Yep.
Zach.
No, that was Brittany. Or did...
Well, if we go in the same if we go in the same order we went before, as opposed to the way it's written down, then
okay, got it.
it's wibbly wobbly.
I wasn't quite
You do
ready
that a
because
lot.
I thought we were going in the order it was written, and I know I'm at the bottom of the way it's written. So
Well, if you want to go, then go right on ahead. So.
Okay, I can try. It's been a while since I've seen this. But the next one, we have Queen Eleanor from Brave, who's Merida, thank you, sorry. His mom, and, crud.
The thing with Pixar is Disney, but Pixar is a separate entity from Disney, even though they're still both Disney. So, unlike in the Disney animated movies, where a lot of characters don't have moms, in Pixar, a lot of times they do. Finding Nemo is one of the exceptions. But, but in the other Pixar movies, like Toy Story and in Brave, the characters have their mother. And I think that makes a difference.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Especially with Brave, where the story revolves around, this mother-daughter relationship.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Which is interesting to me, because I love Brave, and I know a lot of people didn't, but screw them. But
Brave was great.
yeah, because you don't really see that. I mean, for precisely the reason you said, is a lot of Disney movies, the mom is gone for some reason, and with Brave, they really talk about, mother-daughter relationships, which don't really get talked about a lot in movies and things. And, you got, this mom who has expectations for her daughter, especially where she's a royal, and there's another layer of expectations there in the story. And Merida just wants to, what does your dad say? I'm going to
I'm gonna,
Glen.
yeah, with the wind blowing through my
hair. Shooting arrows into the wind,
Yeah.
free as a bird, or whatever it is he says.
Something like that.
And it's, yeah. And, especially when you're a teenager, I don't know how the rest of you ladies are, or were with your moms when you were teenagers, but I was kind of a brat. And I was kind of like Merida with my mother, because I was like, I don't want to do that. Why do I want to do that? Go away. Tell me what to do. I'm not going to wear that. I'm not going to do my hair like that. Meh. And, and I love my mom now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and it just, I think when you get older, you appreciate your mom more for what she was trying to do, and maybe some of it wasn't quite to your liking anyway. but you know, you realize she had your best interests at heart, and she had, and just like Queen Eleanor did with Merida, and Merida learns this. You know, she's trying to get her mom turned from not being a bear anymore,
Yeah.
and she employs the things that her mother has taught her, and she's like, "Wow, Mom, you actually do know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
And I think we do this with our parents all the time, and you know, you kind of you realize that they're trying to teach you good things, and you know what's gonna help you in your life, and so it's like that little that poem, that prophecy that's in there. You know, mend the bond torn by pride, and it's not just, you know, mending the tapestry as they think it. You know, mending their Merida's and Eleanor's relationship, because they both wanted to be right rather than trying to, you know, what was right for each other. And in the end, they find a compromise, which is what you should look for anyway. And so, I don't know, that story, that one touched a nerve with me, and that's why I love it, even though sometimes it's hard for me to watch, because I'm like, oh yeah, I did that too. I didn't turn my mother into a bear, though.
I was going to say, that would be impressive, but...
But no, it was more like, you know, you say things that you regret later, and yeah, I don't need to go into it now, because it's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
But you're still like, yeah, I was a jerk. And, you know, and my mom and I have talked about it since then, and things are good now. We love each other.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So if you ever need a good cry it out Mother's Day movie, there's a good one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. Okay, Mitch, now it's your turn.
Yes, now it's my turn, and this is our the final of our top 10, and it's from Orphan Black, which we talked about recently. Sarah Manning, who is one of the only clones actually capable of having a biological child, and she does a little 8-year-old girl named Kira, who is absolutely adorable, and the reason I included Sarah on this list is because she does love her daughter, despite some bad decisions, some mistakes she's made, and over the course of the series, we see her grow as a mother. Because at the beginning of the series, her initial plan is to steal like $75,000 from Beth, one of the other clones, take her daughter, and just run. And she ultimately decides not to do that because she acknowledges that Kira is better off with her foster mother, Mrs. S., who I have as an honorary mention for this. So, yeah. Because a lot of what she does in Orphan Black, in the series, is for Kira. To keep her safe, keep her protected, try and do what's best for Kira.
Well, that's the essence of being a mother. Is what you know, doing what's best for your child, and even if that's, you know, giving them up to be raised by someone else.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. So that's our 10. But excuse me, it's getting late. But we do have some honorable mentions. So we tying into our dad's list, because, you know, you can't talk about awesome fandom mothers and fathers without mentioning the Cunninghams from Happy Days. So Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days. The others from Orphan Black, like Mitch mentioned.
So from Orphan Black, I've got Allison Hendricks, who has 2 adopted children, Oscar and Gemma. That again, a lot of Allison's thing is keep my children out of the whole clone conspiracy, everything that's going on. My children are not involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Helena, who is the other clone capable of having biological children, and is Sarah's twin, who she's a mother-to-be. She got impregnated at the end of season 2. So, it's a big for her. Very new thing. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Mrs. S, who is foster mother to Sarah and another character, Felix, and has also been very instrumental in raising Kira, especially, like, because prior to the series, Sarah had been gone out of Kira's life for 10 months, and Mrs. S raised her through that time. Like, look after her, made sure she was fed and clothed and in school. And, yeah.
Others still counts. Daenerys Targaryen, Mother of Dragons from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Well,
she was going to be a proper mother, but that didn't go too well. At all.
And she was very heartbroken over losing her child and her husband at the same time. That was the one part of that was in the first book, and I really loved that part of the story. And then from there, from that death, it became the dragon eggs hatched. So yeah, she did become the dragons became her children.
Mm-hmm.
And then
very unruly children.
That part of the story ended. Yeah.
Yeah.
For that part of the story ended, which I was like, dang it, they could have done so much cool stuff with Dany, but it was not to be. Yeah. Now they just sort of wander around looking for her for an army, and they just can't find one. So, like, how do you go wrong with Mother of Dragons? Well, George R.R. Martin went wrong with the Mother of Dragons, but I still think it's cool.
I like Daenerys.
I'm pretty sure her storyline will eventually connect with the main. Like,
yeah,
they're getting there.
I'm just picturing like her coming into Westeros with her 3 dragons and her army just taking the Iron Throne.
Yeah, I kind of wish they'd get on with it though. Like that's what I quit reading.
Like she's who I'm back to sit on the Iron Throne, basically.
Oh, I would too if the story would lend itself to it. But anyway,
she's learning to be a good ruler. Is what the part of the story I'm at is she's learning the skills needed to be a good ruler, which is it's important character development that she needs to get to before she can sweep in and take her rightful place on the Iron Throne.
Okay.
I like it. Martha Rogers from Castle, and I don't watch Castle, so you're gonna have to.
Martha. Yeah,
she's the best.
Yeah, she's Richard Castle's mother. She's a Broadway stage actress. Very supportive of Rick, and she's living rent free in his apartment, even after Beckett and Castle are married. But I mean, she'll do anything for her son. Very supportive. And this past episode, he was very supportive of her. I mean, she's just Oh, I mean, she even kind of takes. She takes even Esposito and Ryan under her wing a bit too, and it's just so cool.
She is very much a showwoman, and you could very easily dismiss her as just this flashy, nothing side character, but she is so. Yeah, but she like there are moments.
She's like, but she, from what I've seen, like the few episodes that I have seen of Castle, yeah, she is like this big presence, but she does care for him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, and that's it would be
daughter.
so easy she would, yeah, it would be so easy just to write her off as, oh, you're just this flashy show off, but she's much more than that. She is just every time when there's really serious stuff going on, like she's there, she's helping out as much as she can, even if she's just lending moral support to Rick or to Kate or anything like that. And she's just embraced Beckett in their lives, and I think she was one of the first ones to kind of say, hey, Rick, this girl, she's good for you. Yeah, don't let this one go. And you just love her. You want her to be your grandmother.
Oh, yes.
Alrighty then. And some last minute additions, or as like we're sitting here talking, I keep thinking of mothers. As a brain apparently decides to fire some synapses. So Queen Frigga from Thor. And now I'm thinking about it, I kind of wish I'd put her on the main list.
I know. I thought that too. I'm like, dang, she'd have been a good one.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
you know, she was. Obviously, there's tension there between her and Thor for a certain set of reasons. You know, because Thor decides to go through his rebellious teenage phase, well past his teenage years. But then
whatever counts as a teenage phase on Asgard.
Yeah.
He might be closer to the teenage phase in terms of Asgardian lifespan.
That's true. So there's that, but then there's also the whole issue of Loki's true parentage, and you know, Loki holds a lot of resentment. You can kind of understand Loki's resentment against Odin, but he also resents Frigga as well, when Frigga, you know, really didn't do anything. I mean, she's always loved him and cared for him.
Yeah, she's always loved him. She's the one who taught him like magic and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he knows everything he knows. It's because Frigga taught him what she knew, and so you know those two had a really close relationship. And I think, didn't they rewrite parts of Thor: The Dark World so that they could get those scenes between Frigga and Loki, so you could kind of really explore their relationship more? I remember reading that, but maybe it was just wishful thinking on the part of the Loki fangirls.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's still a really interesting relationship, and one I wish they would have time to explore or figure out a way to do that.
Yeah.
Even if it's just in a short little one-off.
Yeah.
But that would be a good one.
Yeah. Another, which unfortunately we did not get to see her be a mom for too long, but Sarah Jane Smith, from the Sarah Jane Adventures. Yeah. She ended up adopting, so she wasn't biologically a mother, but she took her little alien boy in and raised him as her own.
And practically the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
She was a mom to all of them.
Yeah, to all the kids, the gang.
Yeah.
And then this one, we're going to find under mom type bigger for honorable mention, Sophie Devereaux from Leverage. Just the way that, she kind of could diffuse things between Elliot, Parker, and Hardison if things got a little hairy, and while teaching Parker, the ropes of what it's actually, to experience certain things and socialize, and that.
I love Sophie and Parker. Can I just say they're just so perfect, because Sophie's like this high class grifter. She's hobnobbed with the best of them, and Parker is get in, get out, get the stuff, and don't
Streetwise.
talk to anybody. Streetwise, yes. And Sophie's turning Parker into a bona fide grifter, and I just love it. As much as you can love people breaking the law.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's it. I'm sure we'll think of more as soon as we finish recording, but yeah, it is what it is.
We probably will.
Yeah.
But we had, this is a good list. We got a good cross section of fandoms, stuff that we love, and good way to honor all of our favorite moms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, happy Mother's Day to all the moms and mom figures and everybody out there, because you all rock.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're real or fictional, you're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as always, find all our stuff at the 5ish Fangirls Podcast.blogspot.com. We're on Twitter and Facebook and Tumblr and Pinterest and Instagram. But you can find all our links at our website, and also if you feel so inclined, we appreciate all the Patreon support that we get, because that helps us to continue to produce this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like that, if you have an extra $1 or $2, we appreciate that if you can. No pressure.
Yep.
Or and also find us on iTunes. Leave us a review if you enjoy the podcast. And yeah, tell your friends, send us feedback. We love getting it on this or any other subject of podcast discussion we do. And where this is finale season coming up, just as sort of a teaser, we will be talking about finale episodes and recap seasons as a whole of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Once Upon a Time and whatever else you want to talk about. Even if it's a show we don't talk about but you love, send it in and we'll look into it, and we'll read out your feedback, because that's what our podcast is a celebration of all fandoms. As this particular episode shows, we like a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all very.
Ugh, I keep yawning. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, we better close this out.
Yeah.
So we get to bed, and I got to go watch Once Upon a Time finale, so I can go screaming into the hills, which I figured I probably wouldn't.
I'm going to be fast asleep in about 2 hours from now. I'm going to wake up going, what was that? Oh, wait, it's probably Chrissy. She just finished the finale.
Yeah. You'll hear me like, what the crap? Anyway.
So stay tuned for Chrissy's blog post about that when she is able to put coherent sentences together.
Yeah. Aw. Not bode well. I saw some spoilery set pics earlier, so I think I have an idea, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway. And we lost Brittany.
We'll find out. Well, you'll find out. We already know.
Right, well,
We'll find out.
Well, let's close this out so I can get to
Okay, yes. So, I guess we will sign off for this week. And unfortunately, we lost Brittany. Her internet decided to go kaput on her. So,
the vortex sucked her into the vortex.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. So, this is Brittany and Fort Pierce.
And saying goodnight.
Yes.
Saying goodnight from Salt Lake City. This is Chrissy.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
This is Mitch saying goodnight from Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I gotta go after all this, I gotta go make an appointment with my tattoo artist. I got an idea. You have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.